That was off the record.
All right, guys. You have Grant Ament attacking for the Archers. Grant, give me some initial thoughts on the game.
I thought it was a game of runs. We certainly had our chances in the third and fourth quarter to kind of make a comeback, but every time we seem to make a mistake, they seem to capitalize on it. And they have some phenomenal players that you can't make those mistakes in those types of games. Yeah, I think luckily we've seen a pull bump up a little bit for the first I think 6 games in a few of those games. So we were kind of used to it. I thought we got great shot opportunities, and we'll of course go watch the film. But I look at that third and fourth quarter. Marcus, Will, and I all had doorstep opportunities that we didn't finish. And at the end of the day, we need to be better in those opportunities. And I'd rather make those mistakes right now. It's still July, and be able to learn from them, capitalize in August and September. It's certainly bugging me quite a bit. Definitely not close to 100. But I tried my best to be involved off ball and do as much as I can to put my defender in difficult positions to slide and try to let him kind of try to get involved off ball because I know that he's not used to being involved off ball. Probably could have done a bit better job of it, but really wasn't really able to go in terms of the speed in which I wanted to play at. So kind of take a flight home, back to PT tomorrow, and I'm hoping that I can feel at 100% in Denver next week.
One more question, Grant.
Hey, Grant, it's Kyle Bennett. First of all, go Birds. Secondly, taking away from what you guys face with this defense against Atlas, what do you guys, use from what you saw to go up against Whipsnake's defense next week that arguably one of the most cohesive defensive units, if not the most in the league, with what they present, to your guys' offensive scheme?
Yeah, I think we this Atlas defense, credit to them for holding us to 9. But like I said, I think we had a few opportunities to put that game kind of back into play for us. And, I wouldn't say we're worried or hitting the panic button. We've got a tight group in that locker room that believes in one another. And it just wasn't our day. And I think that's unfortunately just kind of part of this thing. And like I said, when talking about, some missed shot opportunities, you'd rather make these mistakes, learn from them right now. And really, it's not the worst thing in the world to light a fire under your butt going into playing a really good team in the Whipsnakes. And luckily for us, they play right now, so we've got a good scout on them. So kind of going to turn the page, get right back after it, and all eyes kind of point to next week. Great. Thanks, guys.
Cheers sucks.
Coach, can you get some thoughts on the game?
It was a playoff atmosphere from the jump. It was a game of runs, obviously early with 3 goals, 2 goals. I thought we showed some resolve in terms of kind of clawing back. Disappointed in some of our decision making in the second half because when we had an opportunity to kind of really make it a tie game, we had some unforced errors. So disappointed. At the end of the day, it's like I said, that's a team we may very well likely see again. They played well. I thought Kincannon did a really nice job in the cage. I thought we got a little bit unlucky with some pipes and some of our shooting. And at the end of the day, we go back to work. We hold our heads high. We know where we want to be and how we feel like we have to get there. So we'll move on.
We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Coach, Joe Keegan here. Adam Gilman made 6 saves today. You have Brett Dobson on the bench. Is there any consideration to giving Dobson a shot?
No, not at this point. I mean, Gitz has been stellar all season long. Today he gives up 2 tipped goals, which are funky. I thought we left him a little bit high and dry at times. So, I think overall, if you look at every one of our units, we didn't play our best game. And credit to the Atlas for how they executed. But Adam's our guy there, and I thought, like I said, I thought I got a little bit unlucky, and I thought he got hung out to dry a little bit too.
Take one more question for Coach.
Hey, Coach, it's Kyle Bennett. Last week you talked about you don't necessarily need Justin Inacio to be, as pristine as he was at the stripe, as he was in Fairfield, but today, going up against Trevor Baptist, wasn't his best performance, but you guys still finished up, even in ground balls. So, to see the amount of possessions that you were able to kind of recoup, even though Justin wasn't, as pristine as he was against the Cannons, what does that kind of say about, the way this game kind of bounced, and how do you use that to push forward for next week against the Whipsnakes team?
No, I agree. I mean, in this league, you got your very top echelon guys at the X, and until you knock them off, those guys are the top of the heap. But I thought Justin, from one game to the next, if you think about the last game against the Atlas, I thought it was night and day. Last one, it was a little bit make it, take it, and we felt that. Today, we were in the fight all game. I thought our wings did a nice job. I thought we adjusted okay. Again, from an efficiency standpoint, we've got to be better on both ends of the field. Normally, I think we're better in a half-field set. So the possessions and the number of possessions and that disparity becomes important, as you know. So we have confidence. Justin's a professional there and has worked really hard. And then, like I said, with our wing play, we double-poled a little bit. I thought we made it difficult. Didn't give up any transition, really. We pushed the ball back and shortened their possession. So, it's something to build on. Trevor's as good as there is. So, we just got to scrap and claw, and I thought we did okay there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, guys, we have Trevor Baptiste, face-off man for the Atlas. Trevor, can you get some initial thoughts on the game?
Huge win.
Awesome.
You always say,
All right, we're open
Yeah.
to questions.
huge team win.
Jack Buchanan stepped up big in the fourth quarter there. What makes him so good against those shots from in tight, and how important was his role down the stretch for this team?
Yeah, Jack played amazing, and he's been playing amazing all season. I think he's a guy that I guess a perfect way to put Jack's play is sometimes as a face-off guy, guys will be on the crease, and I'll be like starting to walk on the field, like getting ready for the face-off because it's kind of a layup goal, and he'll save it, and then I have to step back. And he does that time and time again, and he really kept us in this game. And he's kind of keeps that heartbeat of the defense. He's tough.
Hey, Trevor, it's Kyle Bennett. You talked pregame, that the hamstring was feeling good. You were out there, so welcome back. But, was going into this game, was the plan more so for you to just really focus in on everything at the stripe and then just try to get off the field? Or was that just kind of how, the flow of the game was going, where you weren't too involved of, too much running back and forth to kind of keep that hamstring fresh?
Yeah, I think it was definitely part of the plan. I think I haven't played in a month, so and even on top of that, with my injury, it's pretty quick coming back at this point. So it wasn't fun not getting up and down, but I definitely wasn't. It's smart that I didn't get up and down, and I don't need to. Like our team plays amazing in transition. We have so many guys that can score in transition. So I think it was a good, for me in the injury, I think it was a good step forward in getting back to playing. Yeah.
Trevor, can you talk about Chris Gray's accuracy? He's scored a couple goals this year that are pretty remarkable, where it does not look like he has an open window, and somehow he finds it. And he had one with a left-handed shot early in the game today. He had one against the Redwoods in Week 1 in Albany. Would love to, as a teammate of his, for you to talk about his ability to do that.
Yeah, Chris Gray's amazing. Chris Greasy, as we call him. He's smooth, and like you said, I mean, he can hit corners. I think he's really deceptive with his shot, So sometimes he's pulling it back. He hides his stick well. and his release point, he can snap it off in different angles. And I think all he really needs to see is the corner, and he hits it. So.
And then just one last question. Just looking ahead, we're going to Denver next week. Obviously, you have a lot of fond memories there, a four-time All-American at Denver. Can you talk a little bit about what it means to return to Denver and what you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm excited to play at Denver. Go Pios. Pio Fever. I haven't played there since college, so I'm pumped. And especially with this squad, especially coming off a win like this, it's going to feel really special playing at Peter Barnes Stadium. And same with Eric Law, and it's gonna be a great day. Should I plug the tickets? If you don't have tickets yet, get some tickets for Friday night. We play on Saturday, though. It's sold out, though. Sorry. Yeah. Go Pios. Let's go. And go Alice. Thank you.
Get tickets for Friday night.
All right, guys. You Marcus Holman, actor for the Archers. Marcus, can we get some initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, let me get a fresh sip of Gatorade here. Collect my thoughts a little bit. Yeah, I mean, hats off to Atlas. They had a good game plan. They played hard, and they made more plays than we did. So, I think we match up pretty well with them. Obviously, they've gotten the better of us twice this year. Maybe we'll see them down the road, but today I thought they were better. And, I think we shot ourselves in the foot a couple times in the second half. I thought, personally, when I look back, I think Kincannon's save on me with about 6 minutes left was a huge save. I think that would have cut it to 1. I think I hit him in the shin, and, hats off to him for making that save. So I think we had some good opportunities. Great overall pace to the game. I think for fans and spectators, that's kind of what, that's a playoff intensity to that game. Just not good enough today.
We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Marcus, Joe Keating here. You guys are first in the league in offensive rebounding. You had a couple second chance opportunities today. Your putback, and then Tom had a rebound off your 2 that led to a Ryan Ambler goal. What makes you guys so good at rebounding in those situations?
I wish it was. I could say it's some type of skill or anything like that, but I do a lot of coaching during the summer and all over the year, and I teach kids about ground balls, right? And usually what I say is ground balls are about 20% technique and about 80% heart. So you just got to be willing to go in there, and sometimes the ball, kicks your way. I've seen the ball bounce to Eric Law a million times and him score a bunch of rebound goals like that. So we had a couple today. But, at the same time, rebounds means the goalie's making saves. So, and I think Jack did a good job today, and I think we wish we had a couple more shots back. But, yeah.
We'll take one more question from Marcus.
Marcus, DJ here from Outside the Box Podcast. You guys went 1 for 4 on the power play today. Is that something you guys are concerned about, or did you guys kind of just have an off day? And what are you guys' steps moving forward?
Yeah.
To address that, make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, definitely not a good day for us there, and that's, that's an area where, again, if we want to be successful and get wins moving forward, we've just got to be better and execute there. I think on the first one, Grant stepped up field and hit the pipe, and then I think we had a turnover. So just not good enough. Again, they do a good job of defensively. They play pretty well as a cohesive unit, and we'll have to maybe mix up some looks moving forward here. And just execute better. Because, again, 3 goals. I think they got kind of 2 cheap ones at the end. So it could have been the difference today. And just we didn't have it. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Ben Reviewer, head coach of the Atlas. Coach, give us some initial thoughts on the game.
Yeah, initial thoughts were that's a very good Archers team. That was a big win for our guys. I thought it was back and forth, and I'm proud of our guys for figuring out a way at the end to make some plays. But I thought some guys stepped up. Some things stick out to me. You got J.D. Colarusso coming in cold and making a save man down. Obviously, Jack Kincannon had a wonderful game. It was great to have Trevor back. Doc Sakin, I thought, stepped up. I thought those midfielders played great. And we had a new box coach. Stephen Brooks was out this week. Our volunteer stepped up, and against a team that I think is one of the best substituting teams in the league, I thought we did a pretty nice job there.
We'll open for questions.
Hey, Coach. Jack Kincannon stepped up so big in the fourth quarter, especially with those shots from point-blank range. I think he made a save on all three of the Archers' attackmen in that fourth quarter. What makes him so good from that area, and what did you see from him bouncing back from last week after sort of allowing that empty net goal against the Redwoods in the fourth?
Yeah, we talked about that this week, that play last week where they ended up scoring a 2. And I watched it over and over again. I think that we need to continue to make plays to try and win games. And I thought that was an inch or two from him being the closest to the ball. And look, we just credit to the Redwoods for making a tough shot with a goalie out, but we don't second guess that at all. I mean, the thing I second guess is getting the timeout. And really, I was yelling for it, but I wasn't making sure we got that timeout. So we've learned from it. We've learned some of the nuances of timeout rules that I think we're going to carry with us forward. But in terms of responding, look, things like that happen. You got two options. I thought he took the better option. I thought he played great. I thought some of those saves on the crease were awesome. I don't know the trick, except that I think he is an athletic goalie that attacks the ball, and he's as good from inside as anyone I've ever seen. So anyway, I thought he really helped us kind of seal the deal there at the very end, obviously against some of the best finishers in the world.
Hey, Coach, it's Kyle Bennett. This season you guys sweep the Archers in the regular season. Both games were after this Archers team put up 20 and 17 goals respectively. What is it that this Atlas defense that you guys have does so well to kind of try to neutralize what the Archers do when they're shooting the ball?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly didn't feel like we were in control of it down on that end. I thought our guys did play well. I don't think they were very happy coming off of last week's performance. I felt like the sense that I got from talking to the D guys was they felt like individual defense wasn't where it needed to be last week. And I think that they took that a little personally. They responded. They played some good defense. Obviously, Trevor winning some faceoffs today, Jack Kincannon playing in cage certainly helped. And look, we got to play great defense. It's the foundation of being a successful team in this league. We've seen it over and over from the last two champions. I think both of their success came off of playing great defense. So it's an area of focus for us. It is the foundation of our team, and I am proud of the guys for how they played today.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Well, actually, one more question,
Yeah.
Coach. Chris Gray had another goal from just a really, really difficult angle today. We were talking about the goal he had against the Redwoods, if you remember, in Albany in week 1 from an angle where, like, how can he find the net there? If you could talk about his skill set and ability to be able to find the corners at such difficult angles.
Yeah, I think that Chris, as I watch him as a shooter, he has a different release than most guys. He really pulls that stick behind his head, and then the ball just comes out a little different. And so anyway, he hit I think you're talking about that lefty down the alley with very little angle. I think as much as anything, it's a tough shot to read. Not that I was too pumped about it, but I loved that he was pissed off about that one in the fourth quarter that went off the pipe where he shot it backhand, and I like that mentality. I like that he wasn't satisfied with it. I think he thought he should have put that away, and I can't say that I ever would have thought that with the difficulty of that shot. But anyway, he's a competitor and certainly a heck of a player.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, guys. We have Trevor Baptist, face-off man for the Atlas. Trevor, can you get some initial thoughts on the game?
Huge win.
Awesome.
You always say,
All right, we're open
Yeah.
for questions.
huge team win.
Jack Kincannon stepped up big in the fourth quarter there.
Yeah, Jack played amazing, and he's been playing amazing all season. I think he's a guy that I guess a perfect way to put Jack's play is sometimes as a face-off guy, guys will be on the crease, and I'll be like starting to walk on the field, like getting ready for the face-off because it's kind of a layup goal, and he'll save it, and then I have to step back. And he does that time and time again, and he really kept us in this game. And he's kind of keeps that heartbeat of the defense. You know, he's tough.
Hey, Trevor, it's Kyle Bennett. You talked pregame, that the hamstring was feeling good. You were out there, so welcome back. But, was going into this game, was the plan more so for you to just really focus in on everything at the stripe and then just try to get off the field? Or was that just kind of how, the flow of the game was going where you weren't too involved of, too much running back and forth to kind of keep that hamstring fresh?
Yeah, I think it was definitely part of the plan. I think I haven't played in a month, so and even on top of that, with my injury, it's pretty quick coming back at this point. So it wasn't fun not getting up and down, but I definitely wasn't. It's smart that I didn't get up and down, and I don't need to, like our team plays amazing in transition. We have so many guys that can score in transition. So I think it was for me in the injury, I think it was a good step forward in getting back to playing. Yeah.
Trevor, can you talk about Chris Gray's accuracy? He's scored a couple goals this year that are pretty remarkable, where it does not look like he has an open window and somehow he finds it, and he had one with a left-handed shot early in the game today. He had one against the Redwoods in Week 1 in Albany. Would love to, as a teammate of his, for you to talk about his ability to do that.
Yeah, Chris Gray's amazing. Chris Greasy, as we call him. He's smooth, and like you said, I mean, he can hit corners. I think he's really deceptive with his shot, so sometimes he's pulling it back. He hides his stick well, and his release point, he can snap it off in different angles. And I think all he really needs to see is the corner, and he hits it. So.
And then just one last question. Just looking ahead, we're going to Denver next week. Obviously, you have a lot of fond memories there. A 4-time All-American at Denver. Can you talk a little bit about what it means to return to Denver and what you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm excited to play at Denver. Go Pios. Pio Fever. I haven't played there since college, so I'm pumped. And especially with this squad, especially coming off a win like this, it's going to be really special playing at Peter Barnes Stadium. And same with Eric Law, and it's gonna be a great day. Should I plug the tickets? If you don't have tickets yet, get some tickets for Friday night. We play on Saturday, though. It's sold out, though. Sorry. Yeah. Go Pios. Let's go. And go Alice. Thank you.
Get tickets for Friday night. All right, guys. You've Jason Bernhardt, defensive for the Chrome. Jason, get some initial thoughts on the game.
Yeah. As always, credit to the Whips. They're the number one team in this league for a reason, and they've kind of been at the top for a while now. So, again, credit to them, for finishing strong. Obviously, to our guys, been a similar story for a lot of these previous weeks. We kind of put ourselves in a little bit of hole, and I think credit to, our guys. We always battle back. But sometimes we just make it, we make it more difficult than it needs to be. So that's just something that, we have a few weeks left here. And, as leaders and coaches, we'll just kind of have to right the ship a little bit.
We'll open for questions.
Hey, Jesse, Joe Keegan with the PLL. You guys as a defense held the Whip Snakes to 2 points in the second half. What were the adjustments you made at halftime to slow down that offense?
Yeah, I don't think it was anything earth-shattering from a schematic standpoint. Early, those guys obviously have some talented players in Zed and Rambo and, guys like Gerhard who can run the field. Some balls just didn't bounce our way, and that's PLL, right? A couple, shot clocks that had a reset with, at the very end of a shot clock, a couple rebounds that went their way. And again, credit to them that they finished those opportunities. So I think once we were able to kind of button those up and, coming out in the second half, just swung momentum. We fought a little harder off the ground. And I think once once we were able to kind of do that and give our offense the ball a little bit, you make it a little bit more of a balanced, playing field rather than a little bit more lopsided like I felt like it was, in that first half.
Jesse, BJ here with Outside the Box podcast, focusing a little more on that attack group. How did you guys try and approach knowing that Con would be at X and then Rambo and Zed would be on the wings?
Yeah, those guys, I had the good fortune of coaching Keegan this year, so I know he's a super talented player and a smart lacrosse player. I think he balances and plays off of Matt and Zed so well. Obviously, those guys are excellent with the ball on their stick, and I think we have a great defense alongside me and Mike Manley and JT. So we were comfortable with our matchups, and we had a game plan. Obviously, I think anyone in this league is going to have to support to those guys at the right time, because they are some of the best players in the league, and if we could kind of limit some of their production, at least limit it in spots on the field that they generally, if you probably maybe looked at Joe Keegan's stats, tend to put them up, maybe make them score from some different areas. Now you're just asking somebody to do something that they don't do all the time. So I thought at times we were able to do that, and again, credit to our guys and the coaching staff for putting in a good game plan.
Take one more question for Jesse.
Hey Jesse, it's Austin Owens with PLL. Eli Salam had another goal tonight. Obviously, been a really good two-way threat for you guys. Just with the loss of Joel White to retirement this year, how has he been able to step in and kind of fill those shoes in whatever way he can?
Yeah, Eli's done a great job. He's been playing for a few years at the pro ranks. Whether it's indoor or he was a former guy playing here, and that was a position this offseason. We needed to make some strides in losing a guy like Joel White. Again, credit to Eli and to Nick Grill for kind of stepping in. Not in the sense of replacing Joel, but we just needed to find guys that fit our system and our culture. And Eli had been a part of that in the bubble, and he's a great lacrosse player and he's a great person. And I think when we kind of challenged him and he had an opportunity, like you hope in any young dude, to seize that opportunity, which he's done. And he's had some great scoring opportunities. He's a guy who's a threat in transition, so he's got the green light. And as you kind of saw that today, able to kind of kickstart some things for us.
I got a question. So there's 15 Terp alums on the field. Can you speak to coaching some of those guys, playing with some of those guys, the atmosphere?
Yeah, it makes me feel old. No, a ton of Terps out there. I think, a credit to just the Maryland lacrosse program and, what Coach Tillman and people before him have been able to do. I think Brian Phipps is probably the old Terp amongst everyone else, but just, super cool to see kind of the generational aspects from a guy like Brian Phipps, who I was a freshman playing under, to guys, that were freshmen under me, who are guys who I coached as they were seniors, and now guys who I'm coaching who are entering the league. We always try to get a Terp pick, and all of a sudden you stand there and you're looking kind of your left and your right, and you're like, holy cow, there's a lot of us out here. And again, that's credit to the people, that kind of came before us and the culture that's been set. I think we got plenty more coming through the ranks. I think we got a few guys making some debuts this weekend, which will be exciting for them. And again, just, kudos to, Coach Tillman and just the program in general. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, guys. Kyle Burnmore, goalie for the Whipsnakes. Kyle, can you get some initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I thought it was a little, we got off to a good start, and then we came out in the second half a little flat, and a team like the Chrome, we said that they were going to go on a run, and they certainly did in the third quarter, and they kind of had us on our heels. So it's just one of those games that kind of grinded out. It wasn't pretty. Everyone had turnovers that game. Some unforced errors on both sides of the ball, but at the end of the day, we scored one more goal than they did and got out of there with a W.
We're open for questions.
Hey, Kyle, Joe Keegan with the PLL. You made 16 saves today. This defense is playing better in front of you than they were last year. What were the keys for this group against this Chrome offense?
I just think we're getting back to our trust that we had in 2019, 2020. I feel more comfortable this year. I'm back in a good spot, and I think defensively we're back on our good communication, and we trust each other. And I can tell my defensemen know the shots that I want to see, and they're not sliding to the low angles. They're not sliding to down the alleys. They're doing a good job letting me see the easy shots, and quite frankly, they're making me play really well.
you're 13-3 in 1-goal games. Is that, exhilarating for you? Does it rush the adrenaline, or is it kind of nerve-wracking to constantly be in 1-goal games? What's it like being in net for those?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Obviously, we'd love to have a game where we could blow someone out, but in this league, it just doesn't happen too much. And for whatever reason it is, we're the team that's always in the nail biters. But we just know that the Chrome's always going to play us tough. We've had a long history with them in tough games, and it's been up and down with them. So we're sick of it. But at the end of the day, you're just playing the game. And that's what happens. So we just had to grind it out.
Take one more question for Kyle.
Hey Kyle, it's Austin Jones with the PLL. Tim Muller kind of blew up that last play in the Chrome possession by pushing Wiz out to the sideline there. I mean, he's obviously not a guy that gets a lot of attention when it comes to this defensive unit. I mean, how does he just sort of bring that unit together and make those little plays that win you games?
Yeah, he's a glue guy. I mean, the four of us down there, obviously some of the midfielders and short sticks and Mike and those guys, but that core of our close guys and myself, we are super good at just reading each other and feeling each other's body language, and we know when guys are up or guys are down, and everyone kind of went up and down, including Timmy, myself, everyone else, but Timmy's just a baller, and he grinded out and made some good plays there at the end. Ultimately it's just trust. We have a long history together, us four, and we played in so many games dating back I don't know how many years now, so we just love each other so much on and off the field, and we just always trust each other no matter what.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks. Good.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, guys, good Joe Nardella, face-off man for the Whip Snakes. Joe, can you get some initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I thought we came out firing. We played some of our best lacrosse of the season in the first half. Second half, defense really stepped up and held our own. Offense wasn't clicking as much, and credit to the Chrome team. They're really tough. They played from behind in a lot of games, and I think that's something, we talked about at halftime, but they just came out gunning, and they got their 2-pointers. They got their transition goals, which, they're known for, and I think they made a really strong push, and credit to Kyle and the defense. They kind of held on for us there.
We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Joe Keegan here. You guys are 13-3 all time in 1-goal games. What's the key to winning those close ones?
I think if Kyle plays strong in net, I'm not getting killed at the face-off X, or we're winning draws. I think we're a really tough team to beat, in those tight games. And I think our defense just plays really composed down the stretch. They play disciplined, and that's what really helps us hold on in some of these situations. And one thing I think that's underrated, the offense didn't score, but we're not giving up a lot of transition opportunities. I think you joke about it on Twitter. It's the punting kind of scenario where we dump the ball in the corner. That was huge tonight in the first half, not letting the Chrome get going.
DJ here from Outside the Box podcast. You got Mike Earhart back this week. How is the 1-2 tandem between him and Colin Squires been this year for you on the wing?
I mean, you saw Mike tonight. I think there was that one man down face-off where Connor and I got kind of locked up, and Mike beat out the other two guys on the Chrome. And they have great wing guys, in Salama and Tarafanko. I think Mike's a one-of-a-kind player. And Colin Squires is just learning from him every single week. And I think those guys play as hard as anyone in between the lines and on the wings. And I think, sometimes our short sticks like Ty Warner and Connor Kurse get overlooked out there, but they're doing an awesome job boxing out, getting contact with their guys, and giving me space to pick the ball up on my own. And I think that's something that can't go unnoticed.
We'll take one more question for Joe.
Hey, Joe, it's Austin Owens with the PLL. I know you talked on the broadcast a little bit about changing your style up against Connor today. I mean, just with his physicality, what do you find is the best way to kind of counter, and try and beat him on the draws there?
Yeah, in general, I don't love being down on a knee when you go against somebody who's quick and strong like Connor, who's standing, because it kind of takes away any athleticism you have post-draw. So I like to be able to compete for those ground balls, and obviously that played a factor tonight. I coach a lot of college kids, and I get the chance to face off with a lot of them, and they're exclusively facing off stand-up. So I'm kind of learning as I go with those guys every single week, so I feel more than comfortable and competent doing that. I did get a pretty good look at him in the All-Star game, and I think I might have used some quick rakes more in the All-Star game and wasn't as successful. So I tried to stick with clamping and going straight to counters when he got to the ball first. And, Connor's very good at exiting, but he's very methodical. He puts the ball at the very specific spot. So I think we did a good job, sending Mike to his backside and sending his short sticks to his front side. So both of his favorite spots where he likes to get out, even though he won clamps, we were able to kind of slow him down a little bit and a lot more than other teams. So I think that played a huge factor. But I think the standing thing is just something that I felt felt really comfortable with going against Connor, and I think Connor's a great face-off guy, so all the credit to him.
Thanks, Joe. All right, guys, we have Tim Sudan, head coach of the Chrome. Coach, you get some initial thoughts on the game?
Oh, can't start that slow and expect to come out on the winning end. I mean, we put ourselves in a good position. We didn't control the ball very well in the first half, from face-offs to early opportunities in transition where we threw the ball away, and we really didn't get any continuity going. And then Connor stepped up in the third quarter, won some face-offs. We had more possessions. Things started going our way. We were excited. Things slowed down in the fourth quarter, and we just ended up on the losing end of what was really a kind of tale two halves as far as both teams are concerned. I would say so. Yeah, we tried to change practice to make sure we had a faster start, because that's kind of been a little bit of our MO. So we're going to continue to work on that and hopefully get back in the win column soon.
We'll open for questions.
Hey, Coach. Joe Keegan here. Can you walk through the last play? Coming out of that timeout, Tim Muller with the shutoff, Logan Wisnowski. I think the play was play to run through.
Yeah, so, I think we were just going to hammer down to him, pass down, pick down, basically. They did a good job on it. We ended up getting the ball behind and still did the big little. That was kind of a contingency plan. Got it to McIntosh, who's an all right-handed player, and he came around left, right-handed to his left side, and, just got a piece of his, body. So I thought it was a pretty good opportunity. He's a guy that's won a lot of games, over his career, game-winning goals. So, it was good to, it was exciting to see him come in that direction. Figured it was going to go, but, I think Kyle made a great save. I think Kyle played great all day long. Nardella played great all day long, and those guys made it tough on us. And I think it was like it's a good matchup for us. I think if we don't lay an egg in the first half, and scored 2 goals in the first half, I think we put ourselves in a better situation to win.
Coach DJ here with Outside the Box podcast. First, your thoughts on having Cole Williams in the lineup and what it was like having him play at home and the energy he brought. And then secondly, we've seen you drop Will Hoss or Ryan Terefenko down in attackman and double pull the face off. Was that ever a thought today to neutralize Nardella and try and grab a few more possessions?
We talked about it a little bit at halftime. We challenged the guys that were out there, so it was in our back pocket a little bit. We just never went to it. I think with their attack group being so strong, sometimes it's hard to, give up a matchup with a long stick on them. So I think we were reluctant to, go to that. We did a better job with our shorties and our wing play in the third quarter, where some of those guys picked up ground balls where I don't think we had a loose ball off with the wings in the first half. So they played better, but we need to find a way to play 48 minutes at this point, and we play 48 minutes of good hard lacrosse. You make some mistakes. That's just the way it goes. They make you make mistakes, but at the end of the day, I think that's the formula: is start and finish, with high focus, high energy, and we had some mental lapses along the way, and it's just the way it goes.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. We have Jim Stagnita, head coach of the Whip Snakes. Coach, we had some initial thoughts on the game.
You don't really want my thoughts. I thought that the defense was terrific. We lost some composure in the second half. The penalties, kind of really made it an inconsistent, and I didn't feel like we had the ball, and I felt like when we did, we pressed, and just again, it was like two different halves offensively. First half, I thought we played really well, and second half was really choppy and inconsistent. Fortunately, we had Kyle played great in the cage, and defensively, I thought that we really held up well. But there was a lot of there are a lot of things that happened there in the second half. I mean, a flag flies and Timmy Muller stops playing the play. He doesn't know if it's a ball or what's going on, and they score a tying goal. And again, too many penalties, and we lost our composure at a point in the second half, and it completely changed the momentum. We've got to be better than that.
We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Coach Joe Keegan, you touched on it that Kyle Bernlar played great today. 16 saves, 70%. He's taken back that starting role. What have you seen from him so far this season?
Well, this is going to sound a little contrary, but he never really lost his starting role. I was always, he always knew he was going to come back and he was going to be the guy. Look, what's going on right now is we're just playing much better defense in front of him. We're giving him the shots that he can save. Our defense, our short stick D-middies, Jake has had a great year. He's come back and he really worked hard in the offseason last year, and he'll be the first to admit it. He didn't have a great year, and people picked on him week in and week out. And this year he's been consistent. He's been the Jake that we've come to rely on. Having Ty Warner back has certainly helped us, in the middle of the field. And then you throw in the development of Kirst, and we have three guys there who really hold up well and have held up well against some pretty talented guys. I think they have a couple really talented dodging middies. Timmy Muller's back to where he was, and both Bryce and Dunner are healthy. And when they're all playing together and playing well and they're healthy, it makes Kyle's job a hell of a lot easier. Not that
Outside the Box podcast, they went on a 5-1 run there in the third quarter. What was the conversation like in between the third and fourth quarter to settle the team down and go ahead and finish things up?
We just talked about, look, let's just take a deep breath. Let's hit the reset button. That quarter, whether it was, us turning the ball over or the penalties, we lost some faceoffs in that quarter too. Connor came out and won the first few faceoffs, and certainly starting the second half pretty quickly with a penalty and a man down was not a great way to start the half. So we just really kind of wanted to take a deep breath and resettle and get our composure back and see if we could get a couple of decent possessions. Good? Yeah, that was easy.
All right, guys, do Ryan Terrafink, Newport as a Chrome. Ryan, you get some initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, first, just kudos to them. They played well. They, you know what you're going to get when you play the Whips. They're super disciplined. Offensively, they don't make many mistakes. They're tough on the ground. So it was a good win for them. For us, we played hard. We can't keep kind of shooting ourselves in the foot early on in games. And that's not OD face-offs. It's just us as a team, right? We got to come out and play with a better sense of urgency earlier and put ourselves in a better position come the second half. Because I think it was probably 8-3, 8-2 at one point in that game. So, we showed a lot of heart and a lot of fight. But at the end of the day, we just kind of gave them too big of a lead early on.
Hey, Ryan, Joe Keegan with the PLL. In that second half, you held the Whips thanks to 2 points. What were the adjustments that you made as defense in the second half?
Yeah, we kind of felt like we were playing really solid D throughout the entire game. I know they scored a bunch, in the first half, but we didn't really change anything. I think we just did what we wanted to do slightly better. And, we were sliding to back of helmets. We know they have 2 big, ball-heavy kind of dodgers in, Matt and Zed. And we know when they get their spots, we're going to have to support. And we wanted to, not make it easy on them to get their spots, but we know that they're really great lacrosse players and they're going to get to where they want to go. And once they do, we're going to, go support. And I think it really worked. I'm not sure off the top of my head if they, how many turnovers they had, but I felt like we kind of got the ball out of their sticks when they got into those positions. So I was pretty pumped about that. And defensively, I thought we played well. Sean's playing great. And, yeah, it just sucks we couldn't get a win today. Yeah, it's been definitely a year or two has been a little bit, easier for me. I feel like pushing the ball in transition. I also feel like we've been in spots where we've kind of needed some transition, whereas last year I didn't necessarily maybe feel like that was as needed. But, Coach Shudo has made it clear that we have three really solid D mids who can handle the ball really well, push transition really well, make smart decisions. We got great LSMs. Eli's having an unreal year in tranny. Nick is great off the ground and great at decision making. So it's really just an identity thing for us. We want to be smart in transition and push it and have teams worry about it, but not shoot ourselves in the foot. We felt last week with the Water Dogs, especially myself, that I made some pretty dumb errors in the middle of the field. So tone it back a little bit, but don't lose that sense of identity that we have, last 6 or 7 games.
One more question for Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, next week you have Chaos, a hungry team looking to fight their way into the playoffs. What are the keys to that matchup?
Yeah, we're a hungry team, right? We just lost 3 straight 1-goal games. I think, looking ahead, I do believe this will be kind of a catalyst for us moving forward. We have the pieces to make a run. We have the pieces to, host a championship at the end of the year. Look into the Chaos. We know their style of play, right? They're, very Canadian influenced offense. Defensively, they give up shots because they know they have a really great goalkeeper in Blaze. So we got to be making sure we're taking smart shots, and then defensively playing the 2-man game really well, getting out of our end. They're going to ride hard. They're good off the ground. So it's going to be a great opportunity for us. We need to win, right? Like, this is a game that we need to get back on the right track. So we're going to come out firing, and I have no doubt about that. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. Have a good day. All right, guys. Andy Copeland, head coach of the Water Dogs. Coach, can we start with some just thoughts on the game?
Sure, pleased to get out of there with a win. That's our third, I guess, 1-goal win in a row, and all 3 against teams that had previously beat us. So proud of the guys for that. Look, today saw some great things in spurts, and then didn't really close the game out the way that I would have hoped. So, it kind of felt like we survived more than we kind of won, at least down the stretch. So that'll certainly be something that we got to go ahead and we got to fix if we really want to be considered a championship level ball club, which I think we can be, but we're certainly not a finished product yet.
We'll open for questions.
DJ here from Outside Box Podcast. The last 3 games you guys played against were against opponents that you guys have lost to earlier in the year. How was going on this little revenge tour, getting those 3 wins back, and then how do you move forward and take this momentum that you gained and use it to win games against opponents you haven't yet faced this year?
Yeah, well, I'm just proud of the guys for how they've prepared during the week. I think they've really put a lot of work and just kind of film study in, and obviously the more that you have on tape, the more that you can kind of game plan and try to go into kind of these second chance opportunities, if you will, with maybe a little bit more of what went wrong the first time, and you try to go ahead and try to target a couple things that you can fix to come out on the winning side. And then how do we carry it moving forward? It's just it's you're not going to hear us really talk too much about like a 4-game win streak right now. That means very little to me. It's nice to be back above 500, but you kind of enjoy this one for a little bit, and then you quickly turn the page to to what is a really good Atlas team right now. And it seems like they're coming together in a lot of areas, and they're healthy, and they probably have a couple MVP candidates, right on their roster. So, just quickly turn the page, show some maturity, and just move forward and try to keep improving. And then hopefully get to the point where you can secure a playoff spot and try to play your best down the stretch there.
Hey, Coach, it's Kyle Bennett. Obviously you want to have guys like Mikey Schlosser and Ryan Brown on the field for you, but both of those guys on the sideline, Mikey holding the iPad today. How much of an advantage was that, having those 2 guys kind of be an extension of the coaching staff for you in the huddle, kind of breaking down things going on throughout this game to kind of relate with the guys with what they're seeing out on the field?
Yeah, those guys both are the best. Brownie's obviously a Dallas resident, so it was kind of an easy home game for him, even though he wasn't, activated just because of a little injury here. But, he's as smart a lacrosse player as I've ever been around, so, he's a guy that I'm always asking for input from, just because I really like how he looks at the game. And I think guys have a ton of respect, not just for him as a player, but for, kind of him, I guess, as a coach, kind of in the capacity that he was in today. And then same thing can be said for Schlosser. He was running around with the guys last night practicing. I think he's pretty close. Had this been a playoff game, he probably would have been playing, but also no need to rush it. And it was good for us to get a guy like Charlie Kitchen on the roster too. I'd been meaning to for a few weeks right now, and just he kind of always found himself, kind of on the other side of it. But he scored a big goal for us early, and I thought he gave us really meaningful minutes. And that's just kind of how we're built. We want to try to get contributions from a lot of different guys, and I thought you saw that today.
Take one more question for Coach.
Hey, Coach, Joe Keegan with the PLL. Next week against Atlas, what are the keys against that team?
Well, I mean, the two potential MVP candidates I just mentioned, Baptiste and Teat, I think you got to start there. But they are the real deal. I mean, I've just kind of seen them casually on film right now, so we got to go ahead and take a deep dive over the next 48 hours or so. But they just, to me, they don't seem like they have very many holes. I think they're really good offensively, defensively. Obviously, have maybe the best face-off guy in the history of the game, and it's going to be kind of a coming home party for him going back to the University of Denver. But the same thing can be said for our guys Hannah and Walker. So it'll be kind of a couple fun storylines there. But those guys are the real deal. I really couldn't have any more respect for them. So we got to rest up, get recharged and healthy, and see what our roster looks like, and then try to be at our best a week from now. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
He's not started yet. Yeah. You're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good. All right, guys. Here's Zach Goodrich, midfielder for the Cannons. Zach, can you give us some initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I think we put ourselves in a hole a little bit on the defensive end. We need to match up inside and out and kind of put ourselves in that hole at the beginning, and then kind of just we came back together there for a while, and then just kind of we just need to make sure we put a full game together.
Awesome. We'll open up for questions.
Hey, Zach, it's Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. A lot of new faces in the lineup for you guys this week. Can you just talk to me about, some of the things that are easy, having some new teammates come in at this point in the season, some of the difficulties that might arise, with new guys coming in that may not be too familiar with the system, like someone like yourself?
Yeah, I think they did a great job today. I think from the offensive end to the defensive end, those guys plugged in and played well. It can be difficult at times, just kind of getting used to the communication and all the little stuff. But I think at the end of the day, they brought a kind of a breath of fresh air to our team, and I think going forward, we just need to come together and play a full game. And I think if we can do that and stick together the whole time, I think we can make a push here.
Zach, DJ here from Outside the Box podcast. Kyle just brought up, the new guys. Andrew Newport ended up scoring a goal later in the game. He played very well defensively and on the wing. What was it like having him in that midfield group with you guys on the defensive side and on the wings as well?
Yeah, no, that's a huge help having a veteran kind of come out there, and kind of it was probably a little bit easier for him than the other guys because he's played in the league, he's played in the MLL and that kind of stuff, and being able to kind of create that chemistry pretty early with him being able to help us on wings, did a great job there, and then kind of just pushing it in transition at the end. I think it's going to be a big part of us moving forward.
We'll take one more question for Zach.
Good? All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Kieran McCardle, attacking for the Water Dogs. Kieran, can we get some initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got out to a hot start, but we knew they were going to match the intensity. They're fighting for a playoff spot each game, so they gave us their all. So it's good to get out of here with a win.
Open for questions.
Hey, Kieran. Michael Sowers was on attack to start and then ran out of the box. He's been doing that the past few games. What types of looks does it give this offense when he's running out of the midfield?
Yeah, I mean, it's just very versatile, right? Like trying to defend Mikey from behind is hard enough, and then you run him out of the box, and if he gets a pole or a shorty, it's still very difficult. He creates so much for our offense, and an awesome player, so it's fun to be a part of.
Hey, Kieran, it's Kyle Bennett. Obviously, first time this season, you guys have your captain back, and you're the one team in the league
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, he's a great locker room guy. He's a great energy guy. He got a goal out there today. He sparks it for our team, and that's someone you need in the locker room. That's someone you need on your team. So it was great to have him back and see him running around there.
We'll take one more question for Kieran.
Kieran, DJ here from Outside the Box podcast. You were kind of the lone guy from the starting attack group that was out there all game. What was it like, kind of being in control of that attacking unit for the first time this year?
Yeah, I mean, with a lot of moving pieces, it's you got to be organized back there and kind of communicate with the other guys. Kitch came in and hasn't played a game yet this season and did a great job. He fit in well with our team, and you kind of see the next man up mentality that we have. Some guys go down last game, and we grind it out. We're missing two of our top offensive guys, and we still find a way to win. So that's huge for us down the stretch. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, guys, Tom Ford, head coach Buchanan. Coach, give some initial thoughts on the game.
It was a typical PLL game. It was a battle throughout. We were up maybe at one point. Water Dogs were up, by 2 at half. They jumped at us in that third, and then we closed that gap. It's a battle week in and week out. And, certainly proud of our guys, the way they competed that 48 minutes. And the Water Dogs are a tough team. We played them that first game of the year right after training camp, and that was a battle. And you're going to get into a war with those guys again. They're a tough team for sure.
We're open for questions.
Coach, DJ here from Outside the Box podcast. In that second quarter, you guys were able to get some transition opportunities going off of some saves from Nick and also some face-offs from Tommy. How can you guys, generate more transitions that you guys can use that, because that was your guys' best quarter, and the transition really helps also your settled offense as well.
Yeah, it's something, we've talked a lot about and tried to work on throughout this season. Is we feel, particularly with Lyle at attack, if we can get a little bit of transition off of that face, we can generate some good things. And, adding Andrew Newbold on that with some wing play and Chris Islanian, I thought they had a pretty interesting dynamic with the transition game today. So we're just continue to work it and get better at that in all phases of the game.
Hey, Coach, it's Kyle Bennett. You brought up on the broadcast, you brought in some guys that were formerly Cannons, some new guys in the lineup this week. Was this also kind of a way for you to get a jump start on looking at some guys that could be on this team, not only for the now and the push to try to make the playoffs this year, but also going into, next season as well?
Yeah, when we picked those guys up, the only thing that was on our mind was playing the Water Dogs, and all that's on our mind now is playing the Redwoods next week in Denver. I think some of the thought about picking up those guys, is your point is well taken, is, Mark Cochran played for us for a while. He's a goal scorer. I think he had 3 goals today. He's pretty familiar with our coaching staff, some of the guys on our team, and Andrew Newbold's been a pro for a while. And then Chris Islanian, who's been a pro for a while. So injecting some guys that know how to win and guys that know how to compete and guys that have done it at this level. And Alex Smith, his familiarity with the 3 other Maryland rookies that we have. It's just trying to build that continuity. And last night at practice, I think things look good. And we kind of saw it gelling, and some good things happened today. And we just got to continue to build off those things.
We'll take one more question, Coach.
Hey, you can go, Joe.
You go.
Hey, Coach, Lauren Merlo with the PLL. How do you go about building chemistry with a roster that's been through quite a few changes?
Good people. We've said it week in and week out. Our record is what it is, but there hasn't been one ego in that locker room. The changes that we've made on the roster, we always look at that person first, that character of that young man, the leadership ability that they bring. That's first and foremost, and the rest takes care of itself, and that's our philosophy. I'll say it to the guys right after this. There's no other group that we'd rather coach. And we've said that before. And yes, some faces change, some names change, but the philosophy and the culture remains the same. Good, thank you.
All right, guys, we have Michael Sowers attacking for the Water Dogs. Michael, you got any initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun one, back and forth. At the end of the day, like, that's a great Cannons team. Their record might not reflect it, but they're great. And just to get out of there with a win, I think we could have handled the ending a little bit better, and I think we all know that. Internally, I think I definitely could have, particularly on that last possession. But it's great to be sitting at 4-3 going into Denver.
Hey, Michael, Lauren Morello with the PLL. You said you wish you did a few things differently on that last play. Could you elaborate a little more on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that was like the first time all year that like we've been in a tight situation at the end of the game, and I think we just haven't like practiced it. We haven't played in a game situation, and so I think we were like a little bit like chicken with our heads cut off when they went to double the ball. There's a minute left, and like as an offense, like the ball should never go down to the defense. Like you need to kill the clock, and we didn't do it. I think, but it was a great learning experience. And like the reality is like when you're not practicing between the weeks, like you learn through those moments, and you just hope that you can come out on the other side with a win. And like we were fortunate enough to do that today. So I think it's great because there was a lot of things that we're going to be able to learn from and get better as a result of it.
Hey, Michael, it's Kyle Bennett. Next week, you guys play an Atlas team in Denver that likes to, really use their speed to their advantage. Have you talked to any of the guys, whether they played in Denver in college or in the MLL, on how to kind of prepare for that altitude and, get your bodies ready for what could be, a big time, running back and forth type of game?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll definitely lean on those guys throughout the week just in terms of preparation. But, the Atlas, they're a great team, and I think we're going to have to be ready to go to compete. They can obviously sling the ball offensively, and they're pretty buttoned up defensively, and then they're great facing off, and they're great in the cage. So it's just a great overall team, but I think for us it's going to be a great test. We're sitting at 4-3. I think they're 5-2. Obviously one of the top teams in the league, so I think it'll be great to see where we stack up at this time of the year.
We'll take one more question.
Mike, DJ here with Outside the Box. You've been coming out of the box a little bit in the offensive game out of the transition, and is that something you're looking forward to kind of keeping in the offense, or do you kind of want to go back to that traditional role down the ranks?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's just a reality of the medical situation. I can't play the full 60 minutes at attack right now, or 48 minutes at attack right now. So I think, I'll just do whatever I can to stay on the field. And if that means coming out of the box and do a little bit of the attack as well, that's what I'll do. If it means being a full-time midi, I'll do that as well. But, for me personally, I just want to be on the field and help us in whatever way we can. And even if that's just drawing aside and moving the ball forward. So I think, obviously in a perfect world, I would love to play attack for the full 48 minutes, but it's just not reality right now with the medical situation. So we're doing what we can with a tough situation. Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right, guys, we have Lyle Thompson attacking for the Cannons. Lyle, what's initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good thing to get used of sort of the post game losing speeches, what we have to fix. But I like to stay optimistic and look at the positives, and know that we're building. We're continuing to build as a team, as a group, and we still do have a legitimate shot to push through the playoffs. We're treating the last 3 games here of the regular season as playoffs, and we've seen a good Water Dogs team, but I think we had some mislapses into in the beginning of the third and in the beginning of the fourth, and that sort of hurt us in the end.
Open for questions.
Hey Lyle, down two in that timeout, you guys drew up a play trying to get Andrew Newport at two. Can you walk through what happened on that possession that led to that assist to Drenner?
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of just a broken play. We had a play written up. Missed the net. I backed it up. I grabbed the ball and went to the net with urgency, with intention to throw the ball. Threw a pass to Dren. Ben got a stick on me. It ended up being like a sloppy bounce pass, but Dren had a good handle, put it in the net, and then had a chance to draw up a play for an attempt to get a 2-bomb from Newbold. Didn't work out, but we ended up getting a point out of it and being able to get a shot to tie it up in the end.
Lyle, DJ here from outside the box. Offensively, you guys were able to get into some stuff later into the game, but it was tough for you. Ben Miranda was kind of locking you off most of the game. You wish you would have gone out to try and get the ball more, or you wish you would have been more aggressive when you did have the ball dodging toward the net. Like, kind of what was your game plan as he was locking you off?
No, I mean, we didn't really have like any adjustments in terms of him doing that. I sort of just play off of it. I don't need the ball. I can play off ball, and we're getting a lot of we're getting a lot of guys distributing from the mids. So that was good, and I was sort of just flowing with that. Sometimes, you just got to trust your guys, trust the system. I wasn't trying to go out and grab the ball, think I needed to carry or anything like that. I did sort of was a part of that sloppy play in the third where a lot of us they put some pressure out as a whole. It wasn't just, Ben Randall, it was the whole group extending out on D. So forcing us to make plays, and we just didn't.
We'll take one more question for Lyle.
Hey Lyle, it's Kyle Bennett. Coach talked about earlier, bringing in some of these new guys, injecting some new energy into the lineup. What was it like having, a bunch of new guys coming in this week? And did you guys feel like there was a new sense of energy kind of in the locker room and on the field today with some of those guys out there with you?
No, I mean, I like the group we have this week, and it is always a little bit weird when you got new guys into the lineup mid-season or, coming in at the end of the season here. But you just have to make sure they feel comfortable. You have to make sure they you have to trust that coach is making these moves for a reason, with intention, and make sure they feel comfortable. So, as Lanian came in, he had 2 big goals in the first half, and Mark had a hat trick. We had those guys came in and played really good. Newbold came in, played really well. So we're happy with that, with those changes we made, and at the end of the day, we just got to find a way to put 48 minutes together. It's been sort of a broken record, and it's something we're going to continue to say because we haven't been able to accomplish it. Thank you.
Could I have one of these?
Yeah, of course.
All right, guys, we got a midfielder for Cass Lacrosse Club, Dane Smith here. Open up the floor for some questioning.
Hey Dane, Joe Keegan here. You guys had a ton of success today out of the invert set. What'd you see from the Redwoods that led you to go to that set a little more often than usual?
Yeah, we were changing our offense up quite a bit, so we give them different looks. But tonight, they like to switch on everything. So as a kind of box lacrosse guys, we can take advantage of that, and I think we did tonight.
Dane, we saw a great game out of Ryan Smith today. Just talk about the chemistry going in from last year and now going in from a couple weeks into this season between you two.
He's very easy to play with. His confidence is through the roof right now. I know he had one great indoor season, which helped him as well. And I think he's just an easy player to play with. He doesn't like to play with the ball, and it makes it easy for me because I like playing with the ball. And he always finds a way to get open for a big body. It's fun to be part of.
DJ here, outside the box. Dime Man gets paid, something Miles Jones said, but obviously you were the Dime Man tonight. Passing lanes were extremely open for you. What were you seeing out there on the offensive end?
Just everyone moving together. Obviously, we're Canadian players. We like to force things inside, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. Past few games, we were kind of out of fit, and I think tonight it kind of finally paid off. And I think the more you see us playing together, the more confidence we'll be. Obviously, the long indoor season kind of hurt us a little bit with injuries and everybody back, but obviously with Max Adler at the X as well, getting the face-offs for us, it's more possessions for us, and we can take advantage of that.
We'll take one more question for Dane.
Hey, Dane, it's Kyle Bennett. Next week, you guys get a Chrome team in Denver. What are some things, that you guys are going to have to look at in the film to match up against them, as they've been having, quite a bit of success this season?
Yeah, you know what? They're a great team. What makes it fun is we haven't played them all year. So it's one of those matchups that you can kind of look forward to. Obviously, we need to do our part to kind of do our research on them. But that being said, they haven't played us as well. So we got to stick to our game plan. They got to be able to cover us as much as we got to be able to cover them. And I think it's going to be a fun matchup. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we have attackman for the Redwoods Lacrosse Club, Ryder Garnsey here. I'll open the floor up to some questioning.
Hey, Ryder, it's Kyle Bennett. Obviously, it's tough in a loss to, kind of just decompress everything, but you playing against Blaze, you seem to have a ton of success against him. What is it about, you just finding your spots against what everybody kind of considers the best goalie on the planet?
Yeah, I wish I had the answer. Blaze is a great goalie, so I guess I just got lucky a couple times. Last couple times we played them.
Ryder, DJ here outside the box. Quite a few times today, the ball kind of just died in sticks. What can you guys do offensively to keep that from happening? Because that seems to be the problem, really, offensively. Is when you guys move the ball, you guys do really well. You guys have got in transition, a lot of things happen. But once you get in a settled set and it dies in a stick, the offense kind of dies as well.
Yeah, I think that's like a telling sign of good or bad offense is the ball movement. Today wasn't good enough for us. I feel like we've been getting better at that throughout the course of the season, but like you said, it was a little stagnant today. We just need to get a little bit hotter. Take a dodge if we're able to get draw a slide or get to the rack, that's great, but we need to focus on doing that a little bit more rather than backing it back out and re-dodging. So I don't know if there's an easy fix, but we're working on it. We're getting better.
We'll take one more question for Ryder.
Ryder, next week you have the Cannons, another hungry team looking to fight their way into the playoffs. What are the keys to that matchup?
I think that we gotta come out flying from the start. I think for whatever reason, our backs are against the wall right now. We've won 2 games all year, so for whatever reason we were a little bit flat today. I don't know why that was to start the game. So we got to make sure that we come out a little bit faster. And we play with that intensity throughout the whole game. You see us go on runs, and our intensity is great. And then sometimes we don't react to adversity as well as maybe we should. So yeah, I think staying focused, staying in the moment, and playing with energy for the whole 48.
Thanks, Ryder.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we have Redwoods head coach Nat St. Laurent here. I'll open up the floor for questioning.
Yeah, Nat, could we just get some opening statements from the game?
Yeah, I think at times our effort was great, and for some reason we didn't come out with the intensity that we asked them to do and needed, and we got down 2 goals early, and every time we would get close to 1 or tying it up, we just never could get over the hump, turn the corner. So, I think, I told the team at certain points I think they wanted it more than we did, and in certain points of the game, not certainly the entire game, I think we did a lot of really great things. But we can't continue to, our highs are really high and then our lows are low. So we got to figure out a way to get a little bit more in the middle when we are in a tougher spot in the game. But that's kind of what I think when I reflect on it right away. We left some goals out there that we didn't finish. A lot of that was due to Blaze making some great saves. I think he had 1 hit his foot, 2 hit his shin or something, and a knee. And we gotta can those.
Nakai being able to have this homecoming type of game, like you said, there are some highs from this game. Can you just talk about his performance, in front of his mom, his family, and friends, and everything down in Dallas?
Yeah, I was really happy for him. To play 2 goals and everything that we're asking him to do as a rookie. Wings, defense, learning offense. He certainly shined today in the Lone Star State. So I was really happy for him. Thought he played really well. Did a lot of great things, and each week, he continues to move forward, and he's going to be one of the really good players here in the next couple of years for this league.
Coach DJ here from Outside the Box. Didn't have Jules today. Obviously, this is not a prolonged absence for him.
Mm-hmm.
But looking into the future, he may be absent again, or something comes up, he isn't playing for you. What can you guys do to supplement his presence in the offense? Because it was definitely missed today.
Yeah, I think we were all right. I think at times we were hanging on to the ball a little bit too much. Trying to, again, when things get, a little sideways for us, we tend to hang on to the ball and get a little bit more reserve. When we're pushing the ball and playing a little bit faster, that's when we've really shown signs of flashes of life this year. Obviously, Jules is a great player, and we can't plan for guys to be in and out. So when a guy is out of the lineup, the next guy's got to step in and step up. And I thought Ryder Garnsey played terrific today. I thought he was outstanding. I thought Bertrand continues to be very good. Miles played extremely well. And, I think guys, for the most part, played great. But I'm going to go back to those great saves that Blaze made. And they made a few more plays than we did, and that's the difference in the game. I think if we have Jules, I don't know what that looks like, to be honest with you. We went the whole time in the bubble without Jules. We've played games without Jules, so this is professional lacrosse, and when somebody's out of the lineup, the next one has to step in, and guys have to make plays.
We'll take one more question for Coach.
Coach Chaos has got some lethal shooters. We saw Jack Kelly finish with 36% today. Is there any thought process of splitting halves between each other?
No. The Chaos are great shooters, and Timmy will continue to compete for that job. But there are a lot of saves that, it didn't matter who was in that goal. We can't let slip picks get wide open. We can't let guys stay on the crease wide open. You let those guys get shots inside 5 yards. You saw what happened in sixes. You see what happens in field lacrosse if you give those guys those shots. So Jack does a lot of great things for us. We gave Timmy quite a few shots before we made a change, and we're going to give him a few more chances. He's been great. And today we just didn't do him any favors.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thanks.
Oh, what's up?
What's up, man? All right, guys, we got Redwoods midfielder Nakai Montgomery here. Nakai, could you just kick us off with some opening statements here in your hometown?
Yeah, man, it was a powerful weekend, wrapping up on Sunday. Wish we would have won, obviously, but, just kind of thinking, in the shower and whatnot, gathering my thoughts on it still, but powerful weekend, a lot of good came out of it still, and just keep working next week, work this week, and try to get a win next week against another Hungry Cannons team.
Awesome. Open up the floor for some questioning.
Hey, Nakai, yesterday you went out and put on a clinic with Paul for Bridge Lacrosse, where you started your lacrosse career. Can you talk about that moment, coming full circle?
Yeah, it was one of the coolest things I've ever done, probably. For me, it's just looking at a bunch of future me's. That's kind of like how I feel about it. And so for me to, back when I was in that position, a lot of people, inserted themselves into my life and helped me in various unselfish ways. And so for me to be able to do that is just so powerful. And that's what it's all about. The fact that that Paul and I were able to do that and, better their program and get them box seats for the game and, give them a whole experience, as well. So powerful weekend, man. Just unreal weekend.
Hey, Nakai, it's Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. Can you just take us through, what was going through your head when you scored that first goal, obviously in your backyard, mom in the stands? Just take us through those emotions and just what you were feeling as you were able to kind of capitalize on that goal and then one later on in the game as well. Yeah,
man, been doing a lot this year, a lot of things I didn't really do in college, been getting a lot asked of me, and, it's how life is. Like, it's going to be, you're going to be doing new things, you got to get outside your comfort zone, and you're either going to grow or you're going to wilt, and so, past 5-6 weeks, I've been helping in on defense, you know what I'm saying, trying to get transition, trying to figure that whole thing out, but it's largely a new role for me. And so today, I don't know, it's awesome to score in front of, so many people here that I knew today, so many kids I coach, so many kids I've been teaching how to shoot, you know what I'm saying? So it felt good to, see it all come to fruition today in front of them, great timing, everything kind of fell into place. I mean, for me, selfishly, but obviously it'd be nice. I would truly trade it for a win today.
Kai, DJ from Outside the Box podcast. First, what are some small things you learned today that you can take with you to build upon your game and keep, this confidence rolling and keep contributing? And then second, are you staying around in town for some hometown cooking or, some barbecue, or are you getting right back into the lab?
Yeah, no. So I live here. So, this is home. This is truly my backyard. No flights this weekend. Easy weekend, man. Sorry, what was your first question again?
Just what were some small things that you learned today that you can take with you to build upon?
Yeah. I mean, just confidence. Like, I know I can shoot it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know I can, I can play lacrosse. It's a game I've been playing for a long time. I'm 23, you know what I'm saying? I'm a new 23, but I'm 23. I've been playing for a long time. So, I mean, just getting out here, and it's more so kind of just about confidence, you know what I'm saying? Just getting out there and, I know I can score. I've shot a lot. Finally hit 2 today, you know what I'm saying? It feels good. So, gonna do the same thing I do this week, you know what I'm saying? I wake up, shoot every day. Same thing I've been doing for the past 5 weeks. And just hope it pays off again next week, man, because if not, don't matter. I'm going to do the same work.
We'll take one more question from the guy. Cool. All set? Thanks, man.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys, too.
Yeah, thanks. All right, guys, we got a midfielder from Cass Lacrosse Club, Ryan Smith here. Ryan, could you just kick us off with some opening statements from what you saw out there today?
Yeah, for sure. I think we just got back to basics, playing chaos ball. I think the ball movement on the offensive side was kind of suffering the last week, guys, just going one-on-one a lot, and that's not really our brand of ball. So I think we just got back to the basics, like I said, and had a lot better ball movement out there, and it showed on the scoreboard.
Awesome. Open up the floor for some questioning.
Hey Ryan, you were able to cut so well, whether it was off a roll, picking for Dane Smith, or when Dane was in the inverse set. What does Dane, as an initiator, bring to this offense, and how does the rest of your offense play off that?
For sure. He's just so athletic, and he has such a quick first step. And once you kind of learn his tendencies, you kind of just know where he's going to go. And once you get that chemistry with him, he's such an unbelievable player. He's the MVP of the NLL for a reason, and if you're open, the ball's going to be in your stick for a shot, so he's just unbelievable to play with.
Hey Ryan, it's Kyle Bennett from the Outside the Box podcast. To have Max Adler back in the lineup, back in the locker room today, just to have his presence there as a veteran leader for this team, and then out there at the stripe going 50% for you guys to go get those possessions. How nice was it having him back, around the guys?
It was awesome. He's such a warrior, coming off a tough ending for those guys in Buffalo in the indoor season, and a little bit banged up. So happy to see him back and healthy. But no, awesome. Like you said, having that veteran presence back in the locker room is a great boost, and you could see it with our face-off play today.
Hey Ryan, what did you guys do collectively well in the lead up to this week to lead this win, and what can you do to carry on the momentum?
Yeah, to start with the defensive side of the ball, the big emphasis this week was just a lot more communication starting with Blaze, and they did a hell of a job doing that. They were talking all day, and you could see it in our slide progressions and whatnot. And the offensive side, doing a film session this week and looking at our game last week and looking at our turnovers and when we scored and just seeing the difference between those. Whenever we scored, we were banging the ball around, playing our two-man games, playing chaos lacrosse. But then when we were turning the ball over, we got away from ourselves. So just putting the emphasis on playing to our system, because that's why the 7-8 guys in the lineup are in the lineup, because that's our strength, playing chaos lacrosse.
We'll take one more question for Ryan.
Ryan, DJ from Outside the Box podcast. Obviously, you had a great day today, especially in the, I think it was 5 for 6, 5 goals on 6 shots. Obviously, The ball was just great in your stick today. What was it like kind of just being the man today? And do you wish you could have gotten a sock trick instead?
No, I'll take the win over a sock trick for sure. It's good to get back in the win column. But yeah, like I said, when our offense is flowing like that, it seems like every possession we're kind of scoring or at least getting a really good chance. And having all the Canadians and Mac, who's also probably more Canadian than any of us, to be honest, when that ball's moving and we're just passing the ball inside and passing the ball to the open man, it's a fun feeling when we get in that zone. Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. Great game, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, we got Chaos Lacrosse Club head coach Eddie Towers here. Coach, could you kick us off with some opening statements?
We had three areas that we wanted to address after our game versus the Whipstakes last week. We felt that we could do a better job communicating on defense. We felt like we needed to have more face-off success, particularly in the 3-on-3 ground balls. I thought Max Adler did a great job against TD. It was a great battle to watch all day long, but I thought in the 3-on-3 battles, I was really proud of our compete level and our ability to come up with 50-50 ground balls. Excuse me. And offensively, we wanted to make sure that we were disciplined in our decision-making. We wanted to be able to identify when we had important possessions, ones that are coming off where we're playing too much defense, and I felt like we did a really good job of that. I didn't think we were perfect in any area, but I felt like we were significantly better in every area. And so we want to go out next week against the Chrome, who's obviously a great team, and we want to build on the things that we did well today.
Thank you. Open the floor for some questioning.
Hey, AT, Joe Keegan here. You guys had a lot of success out of the invert today. Why'd you go to that set a little more often than we usually see?
Well, we felt like we had good matchup, number one. Number two, it allows us the opportunity to get a little more depth into our possessions. And, the reality is, we feel like with the playmaking ability around the perimeter, our ability to finish inside and have threats that can score on the outside, we felt like, the more that we could mix it up in general on them, not just with the invert, but with other things as well, we felt like we could keep things fresh on the offensive end, and I felt like that would be harder to play.
Hey, AT, it's Kyle Bennett. To see Ryder Garnsey have the game that he had against Blaze today, putting up 5 goals, but then on your guys' end to have Smithers, go goal for goal with Ryder.
Yeah.
How important was it for, somebody like Ryan Smith to have the game that he had and step up to kind of lead the way with this offense along with Dane having, all the assists that he had?
Yeah, listen, I feel like our offense is everybody together, and how the defense decides to play it will dictate who gets the opportunities. Obviously, we want to take high-quality shots. We don't want to force the ball on offense. But what I think you saw there were a bunch of guys that prioritized the success of the offense over everything else. And, we've got an incredibly unselfish group on the offensive end, and you can see that based on how the scoring is so spread out, and on the other end, I'm not surprised on Ryder Garnsey's success. The guy's an unbelievable player, and he's super creative and super crafty and plays big in big games. And, I'm not so sure that it was Ryder Garnsey versus Smithers. But I felt like offensively we were connected. We tried the best we could to keep them off balance and keep them uncomfortable. And I felt like we generated a lot of really good opportunities. And I felt like Jack Kelly played a great game. I felt like he had some great stops in the first quarter in particular. But the way that our guys can finish when they get in a groove and they're getting shots within the framework of our offense, we can be scary at times. And we weren't perfect, but I do like what we did this week. It felt like we took a major step forward, again, on the back end, in the middle of the field and on the offensive end, and I couldn't be happier for these guys. But, we got a really tough opponent coming up next week in Denver in the Chrome, and we can't get too happy because we're only 2-5, and we got to keep, working hard and hope that we can have some continued success.
Coach DJ here from Outside the Box. Your short stick D unit isn't really talked about a lot. Obviously, Zach Geddes, Patrick Rash, Gosini, You stood up Ian McKay. Just talk about what it is, what it's like having those guys, and then playing them down low against Ryder Garnsey, Matt Kavanaugh today. The advantage it is having those guys.
Yeah, we've got 4 incredibly good D mids, and each are unique in the style that they play. And it's kind of a champagne problem to have 4 great players and really only dress 3. And so it's really a challenge for us each week on which 3 we're going to dress, and we try to tailor what we do to who we're playing and what their respective strengths were. But I couldn't be more proud of that group in general. Even though Ian wasn't in the lineup, he's every bit as important as anybody else on our team to our success. And but these guys today played great. Pat Resch, Geddes, Glick. I can't speak enough about their unselfishness and their willingness to step out on defense and get beat to the right spots and trust the scheme support. And again, our defense, the communication that we had this week, led by Blaze Reardon, but echoed by everybody else in the field, was the difference, in how we played at that end. And I felt like the speed was what we needed.
Take one more question for Coach.
Hey, Coach, how much of an emphasis did you put on early offense? It seemed like you guys had some success there, and especially when you settled down, when you had those 2-man games. How much did you put an emphasis on slipping out of the picks against the Redwoods defense that likes to switch?
The Redwoods are a really well-coached team, and they kept making adjustments based on what we were doing, and we tried to do the same thing, is try to take advantage of the way that they choose to play us. And to their credit, they changed up in the ways that they were playing us and, made us make the next move, so to speak. I don't think we're really trying to emphasize early offense. If anything, we're trying to emphasize the importance of getting depth in our shot clock. With that said, if we get a layup or a great high-quality opportunity early in the shot clock, we're going to take it every single time. And I felt like we had some great offensive possessions, some of which we scored early in the possession, others we scored later in the possession, and then others where we didn't score, but we were able to get really, really deep and give our defense a rest. And those things together, I think, the balance there is critical to have a successful offensive game, and I felt like we had that today. Cool.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.